Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I wanted to start this off by giving you guys a little bit of an introduction to what everything's going to be about. Basically, me and my buddy Josh, we've decided that we wanted to start a multiple part series of a Coyote swap into a Ford, and he wants to do an LS swap into a Chevy. And I know you guys have seen a million different LS swaps and quite a few Coyote swaps, and probably a few Coyote swaps into SN95s, but we wanted to do something a little bit different. We wanted to walk you guys through in a little bit better detail of the entire process, where we got the parts, different reviews of the parts, and the installs, what we do differently. So maybe nothing we do differently, but I want to take you guys along on that journey, figure out how to get cruise control working, make sure all your gauges are working. And then at the end of it all, probably, we're just coming now into winter, it's fall right now, but at the end of winter, we're going to go on a road trip with these swaps, basically right after they're done, to, I think we're going to go to Yellowstone, which is about, I'd say, a 1,300 mile drive one way. So 2,600 miles in total with freshly swapped vehicles. We're gonna throw some tools in the back of the cars. I say cars lightly, but we're gonna throw some tools in there, go across country, and take you guys along with us. It should be cool. Stick with us. But yeah. Now the reason that I say cars lightly is because we're going to, on my channel, be swapping it into an SN95, which is obviously a car. But on my buddy's channel, he currently has an S10 that has a small block 350 in it and an automatic. It's swapped in by the previous owner. It's an 80s square body style S10. But he's considering putting an LS into that and a manual, or there's a few other potentials currently that he has that want to trade him for the S10. I think he's looking at a couple Camaros and stuff. He might go with the S10, he might go with the Camaros. I'm not sure yet. I don't want to spoil it with him, and maybe he won't even do a Camaro. I just know that a Camaro was an option, but that'll be for his channel to, debut. I don't want to go into too much detail and take any light from him. His channel's name is going to be Just Because Racing. Again, his name is Josh. He's a really cool buddy of mine. Definitely check him out. He's going to be doing this along with me. A couple videos on my channel and his channel. We'll probably do a little bit of a collaboration and maybe work on his truck when he needs it and work on my car when I need his help. And then obviously at the end, we'll be doing a whole vlog series of both of the swaps fully done on the road trip, about 1,300 miles each way. And we might even swap vehicles a couple times just to get, an unbiased opinion on both ends of it, because I'm going to be swapping a Coyote into this, and I'm a little bit more of a Ford guy. I do own a Chevy, but I'm a little bit more of a Ford guy, so I might have a little bit of a biased opinion and think the Coyote's best thing in the world. Obviously, I know it's not. There's things that are better, and there's things that are worse. And then same for him, he's going to think that the LS is the best thing in the world, and in some cases they are better, in some cases they are worse. So we want to get a little bit of each other's opinions on how they drive, how they feel, and so on and so forth. So we want to give you guys the most raw detail of not only putting these things together, but the final product and how they feel and how they drive and whether or not, they're reliable. We don't want to hide anything from you guys. If they, an alternator that we tried to save a little bit of money on and reuse one of the ones that came with it, the engine, maybe it leaves it stranded on the side of the road halfway there. We're not going to leave that out. We want to take you guys along, show you everything, and not hide anything. Like I said before, the swap that we'll be doing on our channel, or my channel, I guess we'll consider our channel since you guys will be along with me, is a 99 Mustang, SN95 body style, obviously. It had a 4.6 in it before. It was pro-charged. The car made on the dyno, which I can probably insert a clip here. weight on the dyno. I think it was 398 horsepower wheel. And then it was 423 or 424 foot-pounds of torque. So it was pretty fun before, but you know, there was random, the swap had been done before me, or the Pro Charger had been done before me. And there was certain things that, you know, I didn't think were done perfect. Like some of the charge piping was a little spotty, and it would blow charge pipes off sometimes, leave me stranded, which obviously it's just fixing the charge pipe, but it's still a little bit annoying. Anytime you want to get on your car, you have to worry about a charge pipe coming off. And then there's obviously the whole ordeal with the 4.6. You never know whether or not it's going to be able to hold that kind of power once you're up there. You're basically double what it was from the factory crank. So it gets a little sketchy, but it has Cobra brakes on the front, drilled and soldered rotors, aftermarket wheels. It's got some cheap tires on it. I'm not sure even what they are. ATR Sports. Keeleys. Yeah, they're not great. They didn't hold the power before. I'd blow the tires off second, third gear all the time. We're gonna get some, maybe even get some new wheels. These are just aftermarket wheels, or off-brand aftermarket wheels. Maybe we'll get something a little bit better, a little bit lighter, and better quality. Not that these are bad, they look pretty good. It's got 13 Mustang seats in it. It was pretty clean before I tore it all apart. It was a South Carolina car, so no rust. And yeah, it does have a little bit of somebody, the previous owner, backed into something, messed up the bumper a bit, but the paint was pretty freshly redone before I got it, other than the bumper. Somebody did that after it was repainted. Don't mind the radiator, it got a little damaged in the pull. I'll go a little bit more into the detail on why the 4.6 came out, how I got the Coyote, and why I was in a little bit of a rush. As you can tell, I damaged the radiator. I was in a bit of a rush. I needed to get it out of there in a couple of days. I'll go a little bit more into detail on that stuff and how I acquired some of the swap parts already, and further on in other videos. But yeah, this is the car. This is what our swap will be. And here is the Coyote that will be going into the car. It is a pullout from an 11 Mustang. The car was an auto before. It came with the harness, and I have the ECU and the pedal and all of that, but I don't plan on reusing it. I contacted Power by the Hour, and basically to be able to get the manual trans harness, because it was an auto harness before, to get the manual trans harness and then the body harness for the car, and then to have my auto ECU flash to a manual ECU, it's gonna come out to, I think it was $1,600, and Ford Racing Control Pack is, for the Coyote, is I think like $1,700. So I'll probably just go with a new one and then sell the stuff that I have. Maybe somebody else will be able to use it, somebody else that wants to swap into an auto car. When I bought the engine, like I said, I didn't buy it. I did a little bit of trading for the 4.6 and Pro Charger to get this and some of the swap parts. I'll go into a little bit more detail on that again in the future. But when I got it, I was a little bit worried because it was a steel, basically. I was worried that the inside of the motor would have, I don't know the mileage. It was unknown. I was worried the inside would show signs of it being a high mileage motor and worn out, or maybe something broke on it, but got it up on the stand, pulled the valve covers off. I'll insert pictures, but everything on the inside surprisingly looks like this thing had very low mileage on it, and it all spins freely. So that's really good. There is some things that I want to do. The motor's been sitting for a while, which is also why I believe it's a low mileage motor. I think this thing's been sitting for quite a while, which isn't good for it, but it has no surface rust or anything on the inside, so I think that's fine. I'll probably pull the valve covers again and douse some oil on there in the meantime while we're waiting to finish this. But I want to try and clean up some of this corrosion that started on here. polish it up a little bit, make it look good again. Some of the stuff isn't gonna be reused. Like this was cut by whoever pulled the motor out. And then some of this, like the alternator is gonna have to get moved over here. That's gonna get changed out to the factory 4.6 style. I have to get those brackets and stuff. I'll go through a review on those and show you guys how to put those on when those come in. But I also want to pull this front timing cover off and do a billet oil pump. Eventually, this will get a supercharger. Not sure what kind of supercharger yet, but it will probably get one eventually. So I want to do a billet oil pump, as that is one of the Coyote weak points, and I don't want to, they're not cheap motors, so I don't want to in the future run into an issue with that. So probably I'll bring you guys along in that process and tearing that apart, you know, pulling the timing chains off, putting a billet oil pump in, sealing it all back up, you know, retiming it, sealing it up, and so on and so forth. But yeah. Now I will be using the stock T45 partially to just get it done. I'm trying to save a little bit of money, but also for a little bit of scientific purposes. A lot of the things I read online and people that do the swaps always say, oh, you can't use the T45, you can't use the T45, just find something else, a waste of time basically. But the car before made almost 400 wheel and over 400 foot-pounds of torque. And it was doing just fine like that for a while. So I think the T45 will be okay. If anything, it'll be, you know, for scientific purposes to see how long that T45 can actually last. It's over there on the ground. We'll throw in a new clutch. Obviously, I need to put a new flywheel in it, but because the flywheel in it came out of a manual car. But we'll see how it lasts. Eventually, I'm probably gonna have to look for something like a T56 or T56 Magnum. But for you guys at home who are trying to, you know, figure out a way to do this swap a little bit more relatively, you know, cheaply, and reuse some of the stuff that you already have, I'm gonna show you guys, you know, whether or not it's gonna last. And hopefully it does. If it doesn't, oh well. At least you guys will know for your own good, instead of just me saying it's not gonna be able to hold it and telling you guys you need to spend a bunch of money. So yeah, I do apologize guys, this video is a little bit more boring. It's just the introduction to the channel, you know, not a whole lot going on. I just want to give you guys an idea of what you can expect if you're just now tuning into the channel. Bring you guys along on the process. But since it was a little bit more boring, we'll do an unboxing of one of the parts that we need, one of the first parts that we need for the swap. I'll probably, for sure will be doing a deeper unboxing of the part. I just want to show it to you guys today, and I'll also be doing a little bit of a review and obviously the install and the build of it all, because this specific part doesn't come all put together. I have to put part of it together myself, so I'll show you guys all that later, but let's do the unboxing. So this part actually came with the Coyote as part of the deal, along with a few other parts that I will be unboxing later on. You might have actually caught a glimpse of what those were, but this came with the Coyote. So I did not, disclaimer, I did not buy this. So this has been opened before, but most of it's still in the original packaging. But it is a UPR K-member for the 99. I mean, I guess it would probably be for most Fox chassis. I'll have to look into it and let you guys know. I'll put the description of what the actual part is and the part number here. But it is a UPR subframe, tubular subframe, and the coilover kit to turn your stock struts into coilovers, because the stock suspension on the SN95s is a strut and a coil that are separate of each other. And then this will be a coilover setup. So you turn your, basically get rid of your coil. It has new control arms in here. Right there's one. All new bushings and such, and ball joints. But it converts it from, gets rid of that normal coil spring, and then you change either your strut or you can buy a new strut. They sell struts. I'm not sure if I'll go with one of their struts or if I'll convert my strut. I'll show you guys how to convert those. It doesn't seem too bad, and I'm honestly not sure the condition of these struts. They do look fairly new. I mean, they don't look in bad shape, but we'll get them off and see. I still got to tear apart the whole front suspension and get the stock K-member out of there. I'll take you guys along on that process in a later video. But yeah, this basically converts it to a coilover. Here's the new coil. And then the coilover body, or sleeve, whatever you call it. But yeah, that'll be the first part in the swap. Obviously there's some bird poop. It's been opened before, but everything else seems like it's in pretty much original condition. It's never been used, brand new, still in the box, still wrapped up in the factory stuff. So yeah, that's the first part. Guys, I wanted to apologize. I know this video is gonna be a little bit, more boring, but we needed to get the introduction out of the way so you guys understand what you're subscribing to if you subscribe. Again, we're going to be swapping a Coyote into an SN95. There's a Coyote. And my buddy's going to be swapping an LS, maybe into his S10, possibly into something else. Tune into his channel to figure out what it's going to be. If you're more of a Chevy guy, maybe you want to follow his videos a little bit more. If you're more of a Ford guy, maybe you want to follow my videos a little bit more. Ideally, you'd follow both of us, because in the end, we're going to be coming together and doing a whole vlog, road trip, bringing you guys along for the whole thing. Again, his channel is Just Because Racing. His name's Josh. Check him out. And thanks for tuning in today, guys. Have a good one.